Wait, you cook it and then drain it?
Yeah.
Or you drain it now after you've...
No, you cook it and then drain it.
After you've blended it?
Yeah.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? My name is Jade Farrar, and with me today is my good friend and lovely assistant, Hannah. First, before we get into the survey, let's have a bit of a catch up. Your highlight for the week.
Where's the week gone?
I know. Where has the week gone?
We got.
Where's the year gone?
Where's the year gone?
What is it?
Almost August.
The 28th of July.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like I've done nothing all year. There couldn't be anything further from the truth on that. But I feel like I've done nothing all year. I know that we grind.
Yeah.
We grind so hard. There is nobody that grinds harder than we do. Jackie, how's it going? Good to see you here today. Thank you for chiming in.
Yeah, we literally got to last night and we just crashed, but we were like, what did we do this week? We've done so much, we were just so confused.
I think we've got Michael Pullman here. Let me just... I haven't got the dashboard open. Sorry, that was my bad. He said, look who it is. Mike, so good to see you here today. And it is... I'm hoping you've got a few minutes to spend with us, because today would be of great interest to you, I hope, because today we're running a live survey. I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time. I've got a set of questions lined up, and we're just going to wait for a couple more people to come along. I've got a set of questions lined up. We've got a bit of a web app in the background, and we're going to be able to see people's reactions live on stream to the questions that I've got. Now, full disclosure, I'm not a qualified researcher. This is not a survey. I think I might have said the word survey. This is not a survey for all intents and purposes. This is just a poll for me to get a grip on where people are at with how they're feeling about the quality of their supports and the support service system in general. This also has nothing to do with any of the work that I'm involved in. This is just me thinking, fuck it. You know, I always preach on about talking to the people on the ground, and this is a great opportunity to do that. So what I'm going to do is, if you could all share my link out to your friends, I'm going to do the same. I don't often share my link on Facebook, but for today I might, because you don't need to be a follower to interact with the survey today, and I'm really looking forward to it. Hannah, you helped me to develop some of the questions.
So, to give you guys a little bit of background, we actually found out about this site because we were at a conference, and the speaker said, right guys, get on your phones. And everyone in the room was like, what's going on? This was his warm-up question. Warm-up question to actually his presentation. So instead of asking everyone, so how's everyone doing, and getting everyone to put up their hands, he said, get on your phones. And it meant that, you know, there was live responses from everyone in the room. It wasn't, and they were honest because your name's not attached to it. And he also said that they use it within their organisation a wee bit.
Doctors.
Hey, Doctors.
Thank you for the resub. Thank you so very much.
Oh, thanks, Doctors. That's so lovely.
It still bugs me out. We've got the mic going through the wrong system as well, so that was a good prompt. It still bugs me out to this day, and I think I'm gonna say it every single time, that people would spend money to have conversations with me / you / us. So
Thank you, guys.
So thank you very much, Doxus. It blows my mind the level of support and dedication that you have for us. We could not be any more grateful.
Yeah.
So I've just shared that out on Facebook, and we'll wait till a couple more people show up, because I think the energy behind the poll will really be apparent when we get a few numbers in. Fight my IRL. I support your shirt fund. So Hannah, the money that Doxus just gave is for new shirts, right?
Oh, thanks, Doxus.
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for my first Twitch check. Unfortunately, that still hasn't come about. But really looking forward to being able to reinvest into the channel, because you know, once money does start happening, you know, Hannah and I have already had this conversation. First of all, the check isn't even in my name. Yep. Should we talk about that first of all?
Yeah.
So the Twitch check is in the name of my company. So the money doesn't even come to me. Second of all, we've made a commitment to ensure that all of the money, and I mean it, you know, barring a sandwich on the way to pick up the thing, all of the money that you guys donate to me and give to me, and all the donations, the subs, whatever, all of it will go straight back in to the channel in whatever shape or form you guys see fit.
And I'm sorry, Doxus, I don't think that it will just be on new shirts. But you'll be seeing new shirts.
So I just want to reiterate, we've had a few people come in. I just want to reiterate that you do not need to be a follower to take part in the poll today. We will be showing you a link in a few minutes' time. And yeah, you don't need to be anything to do with the channel whatsoever. You don't need to be a follower, a sub. We're not making this exclusive. This is for everybody. But I just want to wait just a little while longer. I wonder if Mike's going to help us out and share the link, because I know that he...
So, this is right. You don't even need to be on Twitch to be involved in this poll.
Doxus, thank goodness you don't need to be a unfollows. Yeah, no, we don't want that. We don't want that. But I don't know if you guys have caught up, but recently I've been observing a couple of Twitch streamers that I really respect get really trolled over the past few weeks. So I've actually restricted the chat to followers only, and so that's one of the things you'll find that my chat is a lot cleaner these days. But to take part in the survey, you absolutely don't need to be a follower.
Is that right also, Jade?
What?
You don't actually need to be on Twitch to take part in this poll?
No, you don't even need to be on Twitch to take part of this in this poll. It is just browser based.
Yeah.
So we'll give you a link in just a few more minutes. And
so I'm just thinking if Mike shares it out, and
yeah,
you know.
So it'd be cool if you share out the stream, but it is only going to be relevant. It is only going to be relevant to people watching. So the bit is you do need to be watching, because the survey, it sort of happens live. So I'll throw up a screen in the browser, and you only get to answer that question.
Yeah. So he shows me, you couldn't see it, didn't know how it worked when
2 Point Hospital, that must be a game. So Mike says, Doxus, we definitely need to jam 2 Point Hospital together. I need to look that up, whatever that is.
Yeah, that sounds random.
So I made the commitment that we were gonna stall for about 10 minutes before we got into the survey, and we're coming up 9 minutes, so...
How's everybody's day gone so far?
I'll just make sure we're lined up in the queue there. No, we're good. We're good to go, actually.
How's your day been today, Doxus? We've been thinking about you.
Yeah, let's do a sound off. How is everybody doing today? Are you feeling better, Doxus? Because I know we had we had some kind of a day the other day, didn't we?
Yeah. We've been thinking about you.
We have. Cool. And Mike, how are you doing, man? I know Mike is even coming on the PC to come take part in this. You don't even have to. You don't even have to. You could do this mobile. All right, shall we do it? I think we should.
Yeah.
So, this is a pilot. I mean, it'll take a while for people to get understanding what we're trying to do here, and that's fine. I'm good, still fighting sickness, but feeling a tiny bit better.
Oh,
but
good.
Frustrating because I'm trying to work hard. Oh, we know that feeling, bro.
Yeah.
We know that feeling. But anyway, guys, let's get straight into the survey. And again, I need to reiterate that this is nothing but a little bit of fun. Let's not get all political about why Jade is asking these questions. I'm just wanting to learn a little bit more about our community. So the first question, and this is all about the disability system. Please go to menti.com and use the login code 466608. Just checking the chat. Please log in there. And the first question we have is, I really want to know from everybody, what matters the most in terms of services delivered to you. And for those of you playing at home, we are wanting to link this a bit more towards the disability space. If you haven't caught on to that already, this may not go so well unless we have bigger numbers. Yeah. But you know, I just want to play around. See how people.
Should we do a sound off to check in when everyone's actually on the site?
No, we'll know when they're on the site because the poll will start loading.
If anyone needs that code again, just let us know.
Oi! So we're starting to get some answers. Wow. Okay. So.
This is pretty good for lurkers too, because they don't need to write anything. Don't need to see your name.
So, according to the survey so far, quality is the absolute, like, that matters the most in terms of everything to do with disability support. Right behind that is customer service.
Yeah.
Right behind that, I would say personality match.
Yeah.
Then behind that is price. And then behind that is a match in some other way. Brand is very, very irrelevant.
Yeah, cool.
Only 1.5% of respondents actually think that is anything to worry about. So do we have any sorry, this is still all wrong on my end, so we'll catch you later. It's possibly the fact that Jackie needs to turn down her quality settings, because we are streaming at 1080p. So I don't know if you want to text Jackie Mike and tell her that she can turn down her quality settings or something like that. Okay, who's ready for the next question, or do we have some contextual comments or questions around the question I just asked? I just want to see if we're ready to move on. Is there anything you wanted to say about that survey question? What is brand even? Love it.
Who was it from?
That was from Doxus. He says, what is brand even?
Love it.
Like, I absolutely agree. I am the least, like, not just thinking about disability services, but generally speaking, I am probably the least brand loyal human being that exists.
Yeah.
I'm serious. What is brand? So he's asking the question about what do we mean by brand? Okay, why do we put that in?
In the sector, well, in the disability sector, there is a lot of different individuals, companies, to put it, to try and explain it. A lot of different companies that provide support services for individuals who require disability support, home help. So it's about the kind of organisation. It's also thinking about who they are.
For me, it's about the marketplace being dominated by a handful of big brands. So Mike says brand is irrelevant, but the sector in New Zealand has a big issue with brands, organisation having more play than others, and much more resource. Yep.
That's a great way to put it.
That's a perfect summarization of the issue. I think we're in a good place to move on. So let's move on to the next question.
I think brand is irrelevant. That's my thoughts, and I'd say quality would be number one for me. Customer service number two. 3.
What is your biggest barrier to accessing the community? Please look at your phone for the options. So I'm going to come back to the preview on our end. So we've got physical access, transport, safety concerns, financial limited support scope, and attitudes of the community. Where do you sit with this? Or do you have any barriers to the community? Uh-oh. Do we need to run that one again? Uh-oh, we've already got technical issues. Hold on.
I think it'd be a combination.
Said I didn't vote in time. Okay. I'm gonna hope that it lets me run it again, because we do want the answers. Let me just get at it. So have you guys got the answer screens up right now? Because it says waiting for players. So please let me know when you've got your answer screens actually up, and then I'll run it again. I don't know why it's doing it like that. It's kind of dumb. Why do you have to answer fast? I guess to avoid... So we've got one person definitely logged in. We'd like more than one if that's possible. I'll go in about 10 seconds. Let me... Okay, we've got 2 people there. Okay. Should we just run it for now? Okay, go.
Where would you sit?
Well, look at your phone now. So, for me, definitely physical access.
Yeah.
Yep. So what do we get? Oh! A big sway in terms of the physical access.
Yeah.
Yep. All of the votes were about physical. So the options we had, and we'll do a variety of these polls down the line. Today might be the only day that we do something like this, but the other options we had were transport, safety concerns, financial, limited support scope, attitudes of the community, and I was really interested to see where we were on that.
Well, for me, my physical would be... The physical, how it would affect me, would be transport and safety concerns, and followed by financial.
Yep. So the next question up that we have, and Sam was the fastest at answering that. The next question we have is, what is your biggest barrier to accessing the community? Didn't we just... Oh no, that's the leaderboard. Okay. Moving on. Are you in employment? So we've got 18 seconds to answer that question. Everyone has voted. Awesome. No. See, if we had more people, it'd be interesting to see this. Yeah, but wow.
I guess you didn't do one thing with that.
Okay.
You just said yes, no with that, didn't you?
Well, the thing is, I still consider someone in employment, even if it's part-time, you know what I mean? Like, I don't...
Self-employment.
Yep.
Some people
too.
Some people don't see themselves in employment if they're self-employed or a contractor. You may not have a current job right now, but if you're a contractor...
The wording was odd for me.
Who's that from?
So Sam found the wording of that question...
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Odd. Cool. So, I don't know why they have this leaderboard thing. Okay, next question. What do you look for in a support worker? In this one you can enter anything you like, actually. This is a word cloud. And I think each person that logs in gets to answer 3 times. So you have the ability to answer in a variety of ways. I see what he's saying. So he read it as, do you employ people?
Yeah.
When actually... all I was meaning by that is, do you currently have employment?
Yeah.
Maybe that would have been an easier way. So Eternal Quasar says what he looks for in a support worker is a nice ass, caring, and that they're his fiance. Dabhead 420 comes back and says, Jade fucking Farrar, I know, Dab, I haven't seen you for a long ass while. How have you been, man? How have you been? Mike wants to know, did you get his email?
Asking me?
Yep.
Yes, I've just been a bit busy to reply, but I've been working on it.
So, do you want to know the answers we got from that little survey there?
Mm-hmm.
We got punctual, passionate, tacos.
That's from Doctors I Bet.
Reliability, flexible, and kindness. See, this is really awesome, man. This is a real tale of the tape situation.
Yeah.
It's so cool to be able to, like, get responses in this way.
And we can do polls on anything, really.
Yeah, we can. Just about anything. Just check the comments before we move to the next question. Deb says he's in bed super early all the time. Hello, Hannah, Jade. How are you both?
Hi, Deb.
We are missing you, Deb. That's for real. Because Deb was a huge support in getting us started on Twitch. He was right there for us, man.
Yeah.
So I'm pleased that he's doing life in the way that he is.
Yeah.
Like, do you, man, for real. Nothing but love. But yeah, I really miss him.
Yeah, it's good.
I really, really miss the dude.
So really, we need you to just be streaming earlier so you can have Deb here actually watching you.
I forget how many we've done. I think we've got 2 more.
You've done 3.
So the fastest responder that time, by a small margin, it was Sam.
Nice.
So we'll move on. Are you happy with the support you receive? Let's see what happens here. Wow. So we got a kinda by both of them.
Yeah.
Not a yes, absolutely, or not really, or not really.
Yeah.
Definitely no hell no's, or I don't receive any. Because that's a valid question as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Answer, I mean. Valid answer. Sam was still in front. Mike, what are you doing? So, I think that about wraps up our survey.
Is that the last question? Yeah?
Yeah,
Cool.
I think. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any more.
No, cool. So we just wanted to play around with this. We just thought it was a cool way to open this guy's presentation that he was doing for the conference. So we thought we'd play around with it, and yeah, we can have some fun with it. Yeah.
I am genuinely interested though, because I am a person with a disability, and I definitely bring a certain perspective, but I can't bring all of them,
Yes.
I can't bring all of them. I don't know everything. I can't possibly be across every possible life experience there is.
Yeah.
So I think, fuck it. What could possibly go wrong with someone like me getting out there and asking questions? I think more disability leaders need to honestly get out of their own head. Get out of their own head and start asking questions like, hey, what is your life like? I can't remember the last time another disabled person said, hey, can I help you with anything? Yeah. I do that a lot because I'm a big champion of the fact that the disability community is the best position to support itself. Yeah. People don't often sort of relate to what I'm saying right away, but most of the empathy, most of the energy can come from us ourselves. We need just leveraging off some of the things I've heard Eternal Quasar say in the past. Why wait for someone to do for you?
Yes.
Why?
Why wait?
It's like it's very clear that when you've got a government system made up of 99.9% able-bodied people, they're not going to relate.
No.
There's no point.
No.
And yeah, fine, I'm in a position where I write policy and I give advice to these people, but it's just about positioning them to give us resources. At the end of the day, the community has to do it for themselves. And that's what they're going to be doing in the Mid-Central.
Yeah. And that's what I love here on Twitch. having conversations with you guys, actually getting out there and actually learning from you. And that's what needs to happen more around our country, this world. Reflecting and learning from each other. Everyone has a individual perspective, and it's great to learn from it. No one's wrong.
Mike says, because we've internalized the notion that disabled people need support. Systems, speciality. Yeah. I just don't know. I'm a big fan of just getting off my ass, excuse the pun, getting off my ass and just doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I have to ask for permission? Why do I have to wait? Why do I have to ask? I just do.
That's exactly right. Somebody asked you that the other day. They were like, you really don't have any support? They got really awkward.
Is Sasha O'Day disabled? Well, that's a really strong question to ask, but I don't actually believe that she is.
No.
She could have invisible disabilities that I'm not aware of, but I don't believe that she is. But in saying that, Mike, she does have a team that is very diverse, and she has many people with lived experience of disability on her team. So take your point, nothing to argue there that she herself probably isn't disabled, but it's worth thinking about the fact she is one of few government officials that have been proactive enough to build a team that has disabled people within it.
Mm-hmm. And she goes looking for those answers whenever she's faced with a situation
on a day-to-day basis as well. I can't tell you enough, Mike. Like, I've been around a lot of government officials, a lot. Some of them are like awesome,
mm-hmm.
kind of like, yeah, okay. Some of them are real knobbins, and you wouldn't want to go near them a second time. Sasha is on another league of her own. Find the best official you can.
Yeah.
And then Sasha is like 10 pegs above that.
Yeah.
In terms of her willingness to listen to the community.
Yeah.
I don't say that lightly, like I'm not on her payroll kind of thing. Like if I didn't want to say it, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But she is genuinely the most mind-blowing government official that I've ever worked with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most authentic too. I think that's a really big point to make.
Doxa says the system as a whole will always work better if the people who need assistance can decide what that assistance is.
Yes.
The opposite, officials deciding what people may need, won't ever be as good. Absolutely. Totally agree. And I think if we dig deep into, the history of New Zealand policy, I think that's been half the problem.
Mm-hmm.
How it started actually is, I think, in terms of the institutions, government decided to build those.
Mm.
It has to be the case.
Yeah.
Well, I work with people to this day that lived in an environment where they were torn from their families, right?
Yeah.
I think I've said this on a previous stream. I work with people that spent 20 years of their lives isolated from their families.
Yeah.
Like, that is just mind-blowing for me.
Yeah.
That the advice given to families was, hey, your kid's a little bit, not right. He's a little bit different, or she's a bit different. Give him to us and we'll make the problem go away for you.
Yeah.
On the face of it, back in the day, we'll make this problem go away for you, sounds like a positive thing. It's like, you guys can take care of my not so perfect child, and you're telling me I can continue to go on and live my life.
Yeah.
On the face of it, a lot of families would have just assumed that, the great and powerful government, that means my child, however defective or off they, however not perfect they are, they're going to be taken care of by the millions and millions of dollars provided by the government. There couldn't be anything
and that was
better than that.
An attitudinal thing that individuals didn't understand the right and wrong and how it could be improved, and didn't understand that. So they thought they were being told by the government, this is right, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, like, oh my god, this is so perfect.
So individuals didn't know better.
So just coming back to the comments, Mike says, when is the cabinet paper financial decisions coming out? Early August? Mike, I can't actually speak on that, but an announcement will be made in a couple of weeks. Doxer says, my puppy says hi. Mike says, it is still happening. So many clients in residential have no contact with families for years and years.
Yeah. Some of the issue with that though, Mike, too, is that and what we learnt is Jade spoke to an organisation earlier this year, and actually what ends up happening is an individual ends up going into residential, and then their parents pass away, and then it's actually not understood because their power of attorney is
power of attorney, yeah.
Power of attorney is then put to the residential. Families are then lost actually where they are, so there's no chance, the contact for agreement is lost between the parents dying and actually the rest of the family understanding where they are and how to contact them, which is really sad.
Whoa, this is extreme. So Doxus wants to know if Mike's public speaking video has been uploaded yet. That would be a big fat no, because I haven't been across the video stuff. You've got to write me a note on that.
Yeah.
Mike says, I've just been selected on a human rights committee that once it's set up will be hearing abuse cases from within residential services.
Right.
That's an amazing opportunity for you, Mike, and I think you're a perfect person to have across that. The only thing that I would pose to you as a complication about this is, sure, you're on this committee and you'll be hearing cases. How on earth does somebody with very high needs raise a case?
Yeah.
That would be the only thing. So,
are you going to be speaking from your experience of what you experienced while in residential?
Yeah.
What you saw?
So Mike actually agrees. He says, well, exactly, that's the issue. How does someone with very high needs even raise an issue of abuse?
Yeah.
And I'm hoping in the future the transform system will help that in some kind of way, because we're going to be deploying people out there working proactively to hear the voices of disabled people and their families.
And actually working across, those people that will be deployed will be working across a person's life with their whānau. So even if they are in residential, they'll be working across actually who the power of attorney goes to, how they cannot get lost in the system, how they cannot get misplaced, and how they can carry on to have that support if they do have family members pass away.
So Doctor says, how would someone get into disability rights advocacy? I'm so glad to be finally asked this question, because I haven't been asked this at all. I haven't been asked this at all, and I've been waiting for the opportunity to speak on it. So for me, like, it happened by accident, which isn't like the best way to start a conversation around this. But honestly, I think the easiest, most effective way to get into disability rights advocacy is to show up. Show up to meetings, show up to forums, show up to coffee clubs. Just make your voice known as an individual and share your ideas with people. My first sort of my first sort of point of entry into advocacy was speaking to the DPA conference on leadership. They actually put a call out for young people wanting a 20-minute slot to speak about whatever they wanted. And I said, sure, I'll take that. And I'm guessing nobody else did, you see?
Yeah.
Because as soon as I said, yeah, I'll take that, I got the spot.
Yeah.
So I just got to say whatever I wanted about youth and disability and my vision for the future, blah, blah, blah. And it was so well received, and this was the first time I'd ever spoken in public. It was so well received that I was actually invited to speak at the youth leadership development camp they had.
It's so cool.
And I'd never spoken in public before, so the pressure was on.
Really was.
And then from there, I just got introduced to government officials. Different projects were happening that needed disabled person advice on them, and just more and more I got involved. Where I am today as far as the National Leadership Group of Enabling Good Lives. Now, I've said this once and I'll say this again. Absolutely surreal that I'm in that position. Totally surreal. So I am the ministerial appointment on that group. Yeah. So the Minister for Disabilities at the time, do you want to go get... Yeah, do you... I'm wondering if that's a delivery or something. Hannah's just got to go answer the phone, but I was appointed by the Minister for Disabilities at the time, and for reasons that I'll never specifically know, and that's how I got to be there. And it is such an honor and a privilege to be able to serve the disability community of New Zealand at a national level like that. I thought that was you breaking the fridge.
No, that's plastic.
Okay. So, that's a long-winded answer to your question, Doxers. But that's how I got into it. And, you know, I needed a personal assistant. And how Hannah connects in is she was on a youth leadership program at an organization that I was overseeing. I was one of the senior managers there. And she was brash enough to ask the question about where I was going and what I was doing and why I was here, there, and everywhere. And she wanted to be more involved in the kinds of things that I was doing. So I said, yeah, no, fine, totally fine. I needed a PA anyway, so the timing was somewhat surreal in terms of that, and it just sort of all fell together. Mike says I was plucked off the street like a hooker and asked to speak. Somehow I'm not sure if I believe that. But I would like to know a little bit more about your actual story, Mike. And I don't know if you are around. The Discord is open. You know, I'd be more than happy to have that discussion. I can grab my earpiece and we can go for it if you want. Yeah, let's talk. I really wanna. I know this is very impromptu and not planned, so I won't put you on the spot about anything, but if you wouldn't mind sharing your leadership journey, the Discord is open. So, yeah, I'm just hoping it's not the duty-free people.
That's exactly what
Did they leave a message? Hey, Mike.
Oh shit! Here, let me turn that down. Hello.
How's it going, man? So,
I'm good.
look, thanks for being along. What did you think of the survey festival?
Oh, I really love the website, whatever it was. I just had a look at it before. It looks really cool. So the survey was good. It was quite general, which was nice.
Yeah. And it's just a start. You know, more and more I'm gonna build these up and see where we get to with the surveys. But it was my first time out, and you know, I do apologize to Doxus that he was confused by the employment question, but I literally just meant, you know, are you in employment, as in do you have a job? But maybe do you have a job would have been the better question.
Yeah, I think they might use different language over there, but you know, all good.
So the floor is yours. I like you see that you were plucked off the street like a hooker. Part of me doesn't believe that. So why don't you tell us your whole story?
Okay. Shit. Okay, where do I begin?
Like,
So
just when
I
you started in advocacy, that's like, yeah.
So advocacy, yeah. I was doing my media studies. Had a really good first year in 2014. You know, straight A's, and I got my media access with a number of different sporting organisations, and then after I interviewed Sonny Bill Williams and published that story, a local disability organisation contacted me and wanted to feature me in their newsletter as the feature story, and so that came out, and then after that, I think it was the DPA/EGL who contacted me and literally like wanted me to speak at their event. Just and the memo was, you know, talk about your journey. So yeah, it was very much just like being picked up and plonked on stage and going from there. So that was my first advocacy moment, I think.
Or did you consider yourself an advocate before that?
Nah. No, I didn't know anything about any of the issues really that were facing disabled people other than my own. And you know, I guess I'd seen my mum advocate for me for many years prior to that, but no, I wouldn't. I just consider myself a, you know, Michael Pullman as I do today.
Cool. Because like you said in the chat, you know, it often does happen by accident. Why do you think that is? Why can't somebody intentionally come into this space?
I think people can, you know, intentionally come into the space, but I think some of the best ones it has happened by accident because you know, and there's great examples like Ants Burgess. She just you know, from Ants Ventures, is it? Yeah,
Yeah, it's
she
Ventures.
she just, you know, rocked up to a, you know, a community event and wanted to know, in her words, what the latest round of government bullshit was, and she showed up and she fell into this great career, and I think I'm an example of the same. You know, it all happened by accident, and I had no idea that this passion even existed within me. So, but yeah, to answer your question, you can, you know, go in there and kick the doors down, and we've seen people do that as well. So.
I'm really interested to hear more about this human rights committee that you're a part of.
So when I
you
got back
piqued
from
my interest now, Mike.
when I got back from Wellington, I got a call from a woman working for an organisation here, and um, uh, you know, very low key, she sort of said, you know, we're going to develop this human rights committee that will hear cases of, you know, abuse, isolation, all sorts of different things within residential services, within community day-based services, um, here in the greater Waikato region. And she was developing a team to get this committee together, and we've just had our first meeting, and obviously now it's developing policy and all that sort of stuff. And you know, I don't know too much more about it than that. We probably won't be hearing any cases for, you know, at least another year, I'd say. But it's exciting, and for me, it's as somebody who's not a part of any organisation or representing any, you know, particular bias or contract, you know, because we've got psychologists on this committee, we've got, you know, various representatives from residential care services, and you know, at the end of the day, particularly those people, I think, you know, they've got a particular not bias, but you know, they come from a particular place. I don't, you know, I come from the street, from, you know, I'm just a disabled guy living in everyday life, and I think that's powerful. And I'm excited, but you know, I don't know too much about it. We've only had a couple of meetings, and
some might say you do have one bias being part of the EGL demonstration, though.
No, because I'm not here to defend enabling good lives. You know, if somebody's having issues within, you know, EGL, I want to hear that as well. So I'm a participant of enabling good lives, but I don't have a bias towards them.
Awesome.
Yeah. So no, it's exciting. But I don't, you know, once it comes out publicly, and I don't know when that will be, hopefully be able to talk about it a bit more.
Yeah, and I have the same response to you in regards to the financial paper that you asked about. It's in the works and it's very close to being finished, but I would not be the person to comment on when it's coming out. There will be an announcement very soon.
Oh, no, well, it's good because it gives me time to, you know, work on my math and.
Yeah. So how many disabled people are there in New Zealand?
There are, I don't know, mate. You've caught me off guard, bro.
1.1 million.
That's cool.
1.1 million.
Yep.
Advocacy. I mean, what if I were like you heard me spiel and I got interrupted because Hannah's phone was going off? What would you say about getting into it?
I'll just say,
like now, yeah.
Use social media. That's a really great tool. And like you said, go to events, because social media, yes, you can hear from other people, you can hear their stories and what their issues are, but you can't, there's no replacement for that face-to-face value that you get from going to events and hearing people. Yeah. So you got to do both. And, the other thing, there's nothing wrong with advocating for your own, issues that are happening to you. So many people think that to be an advocate, you have to go outside of that. Well, that's slightly true, but, you start by, talking up for yourself and sharing your own journey.
Yeah. Yeah. How do we get people to do that more? Because I'm probably guilty of being a bit like you say, trying to keep the conversation outside of myself. How do we encourage more people to talk about their lived life experience? Or is it a thing, Mike, would you accept that, it's kind of raw to be able to do that? Like, why would you talk about your own personal situation in the public? That's really hard, because once it's out there, it's out there. Even if it is a conversation face to face, the grapevine and disability spreads like wildfire, right?
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's very raw and it's very close to home, and it's very difficult. And I think that, maybe I simplify that a wee bit more than what is actually the case. And I say that, because I had coffee with another EGL participant here who is, at the moment, she's got the real passion between her teeth, and she wants to advocate, and she wants to do 100 different things. And I was listening to her ideas, and I just actually said to her, I just said, stop, answer me this. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to do this? And she said something which was very interesting. She said because I finally learned after 12 years, she had a stroke 12 years ago, went through rehab and all that, and it's taken her 12 years to accept herself as, in the position she is now in life. And secondly, she's finally realised, hey, other people are having the same issues as I had. So there's two different sides to it, It's first, I think, disabled people being able to accept their position, their impairment and everything that means for them and their whānau, and also, realising that, they're not alone, and hey, this is happening to me, it's happening to other people. So, there's, you feel a lot of frustration and but also a sense of purpose and a sense of value in what you're doing, and that is the best kind of advocacy. It's the passion, and it's the seeing the value in what you're doing.
Accepting oneself. I mean, even the mainstream community has a bit of difficulty with that, don't they? Does anybody truly have to accept themselves?
I don't think you have to, but accepting yourself is a lifelong journey, and I think a lot of our speakers in the community that go around and share their personal story, in different lights and different mediums over and over again, I think they themselves are actually still going through a process of accepting the way that they are, and that's very powerful, and that comes across in what they say too, and the impact that can have on people listening. Hey, I'm not alone. I'm not just going through this, you know.
You know, Mike, I've had conversations with very influential disability leaders like yourself. One in particular who I'm not gonna dox, or not on purpose anyway, but he was this guy that I thought had everything figured out. He was connecting with mainstream media, all of that, right? That he rings me up and he says, "How do you have it so figured out?" And I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like this is a guy who I thought had it figured out. My point to this is, you know, we shouldn't read too much into other people's lives. You know.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think that this is where social media, the problems of social media begin to arise, because you know, I'm a huge fan of social media. You know, without it, I wouldn't have the platforms that I do. Without it, you wouldn't have the platforms that you do.
Certainly not.
Yeah, but I think that we are so bombarded every single time we go online on our phones. We're so bombarded by what other people are doing with their lives that, you know, and you can say that this doesn't happen to you, but, you know, like, we can't help at times but feel like we're imperfect compared to everybody else. But the thing is that what's posted on social media is actually constructed. It's not always the whole truth.
That's exactly what I was going to say to you. Like, we've had the conversation, me and you, one-on-one, and I hope you don't mind me mentioning. It's like, I said to you one day, Mike, you got to understand, you know, while I might advocate for positivity and all that, and put these messages that I'm putting out, it doesn't mean 100% of my life is positive.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't. And you've been in my, well, I wouldn't call it a day-to-day environment, but you've seen me after hours, and you've realized that, hey, you know, Jay's got heaps going on.
Yeah, so...
kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. So, you know, yeah, I think advocacy is just, you know, it's doing a number of different things, but primarily it's passion. And, you know, I also think, like, the best advocates and the best leaders, they actually have awareness of, you know, what's going on around them, and they might not always understand that. They might not have the right viewpoint on what's going on around them, but they're aware of what's going on around them nonetheless. And that's it really for me.
What makes it for me is realizing that, you know, I just need to be comfortable with how people see me, for better or for worse. Like, whatever perception people have of me, it's just going to be the way it is. But what I am willing to do is dialogue with everyone. You know, I can't force people to have a perfect image of me. I can't force people to see the reality of what it's like to be me, because some people think, oh, you know, Jade Farrar has it all. He's like, he's been, you know, people dragged him to the top. He didn't do the work, whatever. If that's how people see me, that is how they see me. But if they're willing to dialogue, I'm happy to do that, you know?
Yeah, and, you know, I think dragging to the top's a really interesting phrase.
Yeah.
You know, I think people who say that are probably stuck in the 9 to 5 work mindset. You know, you can't. I'm not saying you have to work 24/7, because, you know, it's unhealthy to do that, mentally and physically. But, you know, passion is a 24/7 thing.
Yeah.
And I think that people within the community who want to, you know, question your success in particular, you know, I think it's so easy, isn't it, to be like, oh, here's a problem, and I'm just sick of it. I'm not even going to think about it now. I'll worry about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Passion, if it's real passion, it goes 24/7. You never switch off. I find it really hard to switch off, and I mean, I would hate to think what I would be like if I ever get a job within the sector again, because it's like I can't even switch off now as a content creator, advocating for those with disabilities. Like, it's just like it's interesting.
Do you mind if I say something controversial while you're on the phone?
Yeah, it's fine. I hear everyone else says something, so you might as well too.
It's not to you. I want to get your reaction to my point of view. So it's my firm belief at this point in the game for the disability community that the stock price for disability advice has gone way up. So what I mean by that is we've got past the point of a box of chocolates being legitimized payment for disabled people providing advice. I want to say right here, right now, that my perception of where things are at is the stock price for disability advice has gone way up. Way up. And I would argue that there are some disability organizations out there that can't afford that price.
Well, they're going to have to afford it. I mean,
No, but what I'm saying is they're not going to pay it, so they're not going to get quality advice. Yeah.
Yeah, fair point. I mean, I think we need to be in a place where that price is going up, and again, I think this is all dependent on the organisation, and it's not so much a resource thing; it's a mindset thing. So, I found your post really interesting on Twitter about the number of organisations that talk to you about social media, and I just wonder if this sprung from your meeting with somebody the other day. But it's not so much about what you post and when and why; it's actually about the engagement that you're getting. And that was actually so true what you said. So
so particularly in the disability space, and even more generally, if we zoom out to the public health space, nobody's engaging online. Like, I get a lot of Facebook posts from these organizations with fairly big brands, but they're not engaging. Like, you reply to a comment, you might get a like, but you never get a response. Or if you do, you get a generic response.
Yeah, and I just wonder if the elephant in the room is actually the fact that this is not a sexy or attractive or desirable thing for people online to be engaging with. Disability, health, I don't know. Like, I wonder if that's what it is. People just, they're not engaged because they're not, either they're not really interested, which I don't think is true. Maybe that's not the right answer. Hey bud, how are you? You know what I mean? It's not popular. It's not getting the I'll give a love heart on this sort of thing. You know what I'm saying?
So let's say I agree with you. Why? If I was to ask you the question of why disability is not sexy, why do you think?
Because it's got a negative connotation.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
And people don't want to think like. And if we're gonna go back to like general health and DHBs, and I mean the Waikato Hospital here, we had a big virtual health investment that totally fell down, and I think that people until
hold on. What's virtual health?
So it was an initiative launched by our former DHB boss. So people would be able to Skype in to see a doctor, or live chat what their symptoms were, and have a virtual appointment, so to speak.
And it completely fell over. Why?
There just wasn't any engagement. And it's not that people don't have the technology. I just think that if we're going to talk about health in general, I don't think people really want to engage with the system unless there's an issue for them. And the difference is with disability is that
okay,
there are so many more people willing to engage because they're all having these issues. Whereas in general health disorders, oh, well, I don't need to go to the doctor while I'm sick. I'll leave it until I've got something going inside of me, and hello, I've got cancer. You know what I'm saying? It's a different thing.
And then you add further complexity by someone like me coming along and saying, well, my big bias in this whole disability system discussion is I don't actually believe that there should be one.
There should be a system.
No, I don't believe there should be one. Because I believe disabled persons and families should be provided with an amount of resource that is available to be regularly reviewed at whatever time suits them, and then that's it. The system pisses off.
Yeah, and I'm kind of there with you. More than 50% there with you. But I think that is so contradictory to this mindset that, within the community, even that, people are always going to need support. And not so much support, but, taken care of and
yep.
Transition and
yep.
enabled and it's just and really that contradicts the other mindset, which is that actually we're all normal. We don't need help. There's so many contradictories that are going on, which are sort of counterproductive. But it's good because if we didn't have a system from tomorrow, everything would be in turmoil, I think. But your idea long term is actually really, really good.
So, for clarity, because I really don't want to send our community into a spin, whether they're watching now or later on. For clarity, what I'm saying is you get allocated an amount of resource, and you can actually spend that on whatever you want. If it's a support agency, fine. If it's a full-time personal assistant, fine.
Yep.
I'm actually saying spend it on whatever you want, but I hate this idea that there are so many roles and like I know we have lots of talks about needing to create equity in the system so everyone can have a bit, but I think there would be more than a bit to go around if we didn't have so many decision-making structures. Exactly. One day there's going to be a private organization come along. They're gonna put up $5 billion. Not the $1 billion that is funded into disability. They're gonna put up $5 billion, and they're gonna say you each get a bit and piss off. And I can't wait for that day. I can't wait for that day.
Yeah, and I think that if we want to take something that I think we're both interested in and what I want to look at more is the mental health of disabled people, across the entire spectrum.
I agree.
Across the entire spectrum. And when I say look into it and work in that area, I actually don't mean, going to the commission. I don't mean, all sorts of data and, and then when we have all that, payouts to people or a result. Actually, what I'm talking about, because you can't fix mental health. You can't. It's just a part of people. What we need to do is actually figure out what's happening to people on the ground whether they're in enabling devices, whether they're in residential care, whether they're on, any other DSS or ACC service. What we need to do is actually get all this information, as much of it as we can, and share it. Share it with the world. Share it with New Zealand. Share it with Sasha O'Day. Share it with the officials. Share it with the Prime Minister. That we got to plant what is happening to people, and as awful as it's going to be, we need to plant that seed in people's in people's minds, in the mainstream, and not even that, the decision makers within our own community, because it's not going to be changes to service. It's not going to be a new system. It's not going to be anything more than an attitude shift that is going to fix and make New Zealand a more equitable country for disabled people. It's attitude. That's it. Systems and that are only going to go a certain way. And so's the money, by the way.
I agree with you, but I also want to add that I don't have a source for this right now, but I understand that New Zealand is #1 in terms of rates for youth suicide.
Yes.
So on that, I mean, attitude shift is fine, but it's also about what the hell is going on. Like, I'm all about getting sources, and the next time I come on the show, I will bring some sources for that information. But what the hell is going on? We are #1 in the world for youth suicide?
Yep.
Like...
Yeah, so that's it.
Like, that's a bit more than a conversation. It's like what's going on in our families? What's going on at the schools? Where are our kids getting this idea that it's even remotely a good thing to be offing themselves? Where are they getting this?
Yep, and I think what's contributing to it as well. What's not so, yes, why is it happening, but what's also, there's a difference between why something happens and the various factors that contribute to that why. And I, again, not to harp on social media, but I think social media is a big part of this.
You reckon?
I do. I really, really do. The amount of social media bullying that goes on, cyberbullying, as they like to call it. All of these platforms are free.
Yeah.
And everyone's using them. It's interesting. Facebook and Twitter have both seen a decline in users in the last, since February or something. I was reading a story on CNET this morning. Yet, the likes of Instagram and Snapchat are now the most popular way for young people to communicate, through pictures and video and chat.
I heard that Snapchat is even outdoing Facebook now.
Yeah, I think Facebook's really going downhill.
That's a big call.
I think people want something, especially young people, they want something a bit different, and that sits in, Snapchat and Instagram right now. But, cyberbullying, for instance, imagine what if somebody sends a naked picture of themselves via Instagram or Snapchat. Cyberbullying, when that picture gets sent to somebody and they post it online, that's bullying. And the impact that bullying is having is so much bigger than, bullying via private messages on Facebook, for example. But it's still bullying, it's still cyber. It's a fascinating conversation.
Certainly agree, and at risk of sounding like I'm falling into dad mode, I guess, how are our kids, falling into this thing of posting naked pictures?
Pop culture.
why? Why would you do that? It's so permanent. I mean, even on Snapchat, somebody can hit the screenshot function and they've got your naked picture, bro.
Yeah.
They've got your naked picture forever, man.
I think, young people are very pressured. I've said this on my stream a lot, very pressured to be a part of the sexualized society that we have today. And that goes both ways. That goes for men and women. And then I missed out the transgender community, I think, for them as well. But we see so much of it in the internet. That being sex, movies, music, even video games at some points. I did a stream yesterday of Heavy Rain for 7 minutes, and there was a naked scene in it which I totally forgot about was in the game. So I deleted it from my Twitch because I don't want to have violations against me. It's just, we live in a really accessible technological world. But man, it's an interesting one. Anyway, I'll let you get back to your stream.
Yeah. This is probably a random place to wrap it up, but probably a good place to wrap it up. Really just want to keep these conversations around disability going. I'm not doing these polls for any organization in particular other than the Farrar Familia, and I really just want to build my understanding as we go forward around issues that are relevant for disabled people and their families, the community that I'm a part of, the community that I'm proud to be a part of.
I'll just let you wrap up, I've got to go real quick.
Awesome.
Cheers,
good seeing you, mate. Cool. Hannah, are you still alive? Hannah?
Yes.
Okay. How's your day been? We're just wrapping up now, that's all.
Wrapping up talking?
Yeah.
Wrapping up your show?
Yeah, I thought we could wrap it up, because...
Oh.
Sort of running out of stuff to say. But you're alive, that's good.
Yeah, no, I was just letting Mike talk. Mike wanted to talk, so...
Okay. Awesome.
Just letting Mike talk. How's everyone doing?
So not a big response to the poll.
No.
Not a big response today, but it is the first time that we've done it.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to think about doing more polls like that.
Mm-hmm.
We will announce it a little bit better as well, but
yeah, definitely.
I don't like my content being too planned.
Exactly.
I don't like it too structured.
Mm-hmm.
I like having genuine dialogue like this.
Yeah.
So to the five people that came out today, and there's been people come and go, thank you so much for being here today. I know Ants was lurking for a little while there.
Sorry, excuse me for a minute, I'm just freezing.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you everyone for coming out today. We really enjoyed your time and attention. If you feel like being awesome, there's a couple of ways you can be involved with the stream going forward. One way to be involved is to follow the channel. You'll see a little love heart up in the top right hand corner. You'll be able to click that, and that will enable you to follow the channel going forward. Another way is to join our Discord, and I'll drop the link to the Discord in the chat right now. There it is. But for now, guys, we'd just like to say thank you so much for being awesome, and we hope to see you again.
Thanks so much, guys.
Hold on. Before we go, Mike says thank you for having me. No problem at all, Mike. thanks for agreeing to come on.
Thanks, Mike.
So for now, guys, that's all we've got time for, and stay awesome.